Hi everyone, Zelda from Purpleworx here. I've got a plain coffee bottle made out of glass with a nice fitting lid, and I want to use that with my Purpleworx Cement Clay. So let's start right away. I'm leaving the paper on the bottle where it is, and I'm going to mix up some slip. That's a little bit of powder with a little bit of glue, a little bit of activator with water to a medium to thick consistency, more or less like yogurt or mayonnaise, to just cover up the paper, and then it would be good to add our embellishments or decorations that we want to make with the cement clay. I have added the cement clay mix on the paper part, and now it's dry and ready to use. I must still add the paper to the lid so that will be prepared to put on the embellishments. Okay, I've added some deco podge in a flat plastic container. I'm going to use that with my paper strips. I usually keep quite a few at hand, and I'm going to cover the lid with that. So what I do is I see what is the size that I would need to cover this, put it into the glue, and then push it through, and that part I would add up to here. Be sure to leave open the area that needs to go onto the bottle, that there's nothing on the inside that will hinder it to close up properly. So all I'm going to do is just cover up the lid and leave it to dry, and once dry then we can apply the cement clay. The reason for preparing the lid with paper is because the cement clay doesn't adhere to super smooth surfaces like plastic and like glass. So by preparing it, this is like a primer, and then you could add your cement clay to it. I have mixed up 250 milliliters of cement powder, or 1 cup, and then 50 mils of activator. I mixed it in, and then the next step is to add the wood glue, also 50 mils of that. And that makes it a bit workable and softer, giving cement the ability to be like a clay. So you can add up to 30 to 40 mils of glue, and then just top it up with water up to 50. Mix it up a bit and add it in here. This is the basic mix, and once you have this mix, you can decide what you need to do with this clay. If you just want to cover it, big surface or whatever, this is fine. If you want to use it in a mold, we would knead it down well or mix it up well, and then when it's too sticky we would just add some powder, and when it's too dry we will add some fluid, either activator or water will do. We could add a little bit more glue if you feel it's not workable enough for your liking. And as you can see, this is a bit too sticky, so we're just going to add a bit more powder to it, and that is the cement powder. If your dial doesn't stick to your hands anymore, then you know it's ready to be used. If it has little cracks like that, you can just work it through a bit more until it's smooth. I am using a chocolate mold. You don't always have to use silicone molds, and if you are concerned that your clay is going to stick to the mold, I would suggest either spray and cook, or just dust it with your cement clay and then shake out the excess, and it will look like that. And now we're going to play with this dough to make a rose to put on our bottle. So my clay is soft, And I'm adding enough clay to fill up the area in the mold. And by pressing it down, making sure it's going into all the little holes and areas where I want it to pick up the detail. And you can flatten it, oopsie, at the back. And you can even turn it over in this case and see where you need a bit more pressure or clay. And it looks perfect. If you look at this, you can see I'm leaving a bit of a rim around it, and that rim I can use to attach it to the bottle. I have my rose and I have my bottle, and my extra clay is going to dry in 30 minutes. And I've mixed up some slip. That is some of the powder, activator and glue with a bit of water, and I'm just adding it up here, and I'm going to place my rose on the bottle. And then just pressing it down so that it adheres to the bottle or to the paper and the cement that was already added there, to give it a firm base to glue to. And then this I will just work it down. You can cover the whole bottle with your paper and then cover the whole bottle with cement clay. In this case I want to paint it with chalk paint and just have this rose as a feature. When you have an item like this on the side of a bottle, then you have to leave it in this position to get it to dry exactly the shape you want it to, because as soon as you pick it up, it's going to slide down. So I'm just pressing it down all around and then leaving it to dry in this position. And if you need to anchor it and just leave it in that way. If you see tiny cracks, you can always fill them up afterwards, or just smooth them out with a little bit of water and a finger or a sponge, and you can do that. If you feel you would like deeper features, then you can use some tools to imprint a deeper line, like that. When you paint this, you get all that rugged look of the little folds and curves. That's giving it a beautiful depth. My lid is dry and I'm going to cover it with a layer of the slip or the primer or the glue, how you would like to see it, just to give it a base to glue to. And then you can also leave this for a while to dry a bit. It's very thin, so it would probably dry very fast. I have used this mold to create this part that I'm putting on the side of the lid, and it's like overflowing to the top. And now we got the top of the lid that is still open, and I'm just going to fill that up with some of my cement, that it's all the same thickness right around. You can see what it looks like. And then combining the two, the piece of the clay that came out of the mold and the piece that I've added right now, so that they just become one. If you find that your clay is getting hard, you can add a drop of water and smooth it out. And once this is dry, you can add onto this again, because you can build up in layers with this clay, other than pottery clay where you can't do it once it's dry. And you can add another piece in this mold, or a mold like this, and just add it in there should you wish. Or you can just make that little one and put it in here to end it off nicely. You can also add something else there. I'm thinking of putting on 2 leaves that will go over here. So let's see if that can work. All of this is playing along. Nothing is set in stone. You can play. If you have a oopsie, just remove it, mix it up again, and put it in the mold and redo it. There's a little crack there, and I'm just going to smooth it out. You can take a little brush or a tool to use as a sharp end to smooth it out. Voila, look at my leaf. If you feel that crack is not good there, just add it back. Okay, this one looks better. And I am going to put it over the side and then going over the top. So before I'm going to do that, I'm just going to moisten out this area so that it sticks well. You can also add some fluid to the back of this one. I've prepared a piece of clay and now I'm just smoothing it out. A little bit of water. You can use a credit card or this tool that you get with at the cookie shop for baking purposes. And I'm just smoothing it out to use this one on here as a label or a frame to a label. So this side is still a little bit moist, but not so much. So I'm just going to add a bit more to adhere this. Maybe some water would work well. And now you can manipulate it where you want it. And then I'm just going to fix it down to the bottle. And because it's quite a heavy piece, I would also lay it down to dry in this position. You can see, oops, it's moved. Just move it up. And anchor it on the one side that it doesn't tilt. And when this is dry, and you might have a transfer of words or something, then this surface is smooth enough to do it there. If you have some areas where you've spilled some of the cement clay or didn't work quite so neat, it's very easy to remove because cement clay is not meant to stick to very smooth surfaces like glass, plastic, etc. So all that you can do is use a knife, I like a credit card, and just press on it and remove it. The ones that are attached to where we have put the base of paper or the priming of paper, they would stick. But these can be removed quite easily to clear out the areas that you don't want the clay to be visible on. And once done, you can add some rubbing alcohol, thinners or turpentine and just clear out your bottle to prepare it for painting. But now I'm thinking of adding some more details on here with some embellishments I've already made. This is the mold, quite a thick one, and you can see from the side. And this one is dry already, but it's very flat. So I'm going to attach it there with some slip that I already mixed. And then I made these from this mold. And I'm thinking of adding them on this lid. Much more thicker than usual because the level that I must attach it to is not smooth or flat. So I'm going to add some of my slip here, thick slip. And I can level up some areas if I'm not happy with it, because you can add in layers on this clay. It works well. And even if you have small cracks or places that you missed, it's very easy just to touch it up and just work it in around the edge. This is a rough design. It's not smooth and 100%, so it gives you that very rustic feeling, vintage maybe, old. My bottle has a detail on the front and I want to add a peephole at the back, so whatever you're going to place inside of it, would it be cookies or sugar, you can see the level of the ingredient. I'm taking a sticker paper and see where I want to add it, and then just drawing the line at the back and then sticking it on to my glass and then painting right around it. For this bottle, I think I'm going to put it on the sides due to the fact that I've got some detail on that side and on this side. Call it the front and the back. So I'm going to take this white masking tape and add it to the side and paint around it. I have painted my bottles with chalk paint, Paris stone. It's not a grey and it's not a beige. It's somewhere in between, more like a mushroom-like type of color. And now I'm dry brushing some white over the embellishments to bring out some of the detail. For some shading, you can add a little bit of diluted black or a very dark color, like a dark brown, dark blue, grey, and just brush it on ever so gentle to give you some shadowing if you would like more prominent and deeper color. So these two bottles can now be sealed with either Granny B's armour or hard as nails. This is gloss, but you also get satin and matte to your choice. And I put on 2 layers. Wait for the one to dry before applying the next. From this beautiful glass bottle, we upcycle and reuse it and made these 2 beautiful gift bottles or storage containers or whatever you wish to use it for. On this one we did all the embellishments on the lid, decorated it with some embellishments made with moulds, and there put on a word. And there you have our 2 beautiful bottles, upcycled and ready for use. I hope you enjoyed it with me.